What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back today with another live stream. It's gonna be short. It's got a few topics, that I've seen over the past like 2 weeks or so that I didn't get to cover. Mr. Reed, of course, is on vacation, so he will be back soon. But man, we're gonna get into it today. Got a few topics, man. But all of them sitting around to see Britney Griner, Jeanie Buss, and Miss Skylar Diggins Smith, man. Yo, Ness, what's going on? What it do? What it do? Man, yes, we gonna get into this today, man. I've seen so many opinions and things been going on with Britney Griner. She just pleaded guilty over in Russia. Um, you know, Oh man, hold on just a second. I got people calling me, and there we go. All right, dog, I'm trying to do a show here, man. Golly, but yeah, but we're going to get into this. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah. So Britney Griner pleaded guilty in Russia to marijuana charges. So what happens next? So WNBA star Britney Griner pleaded guilty Thursday to bringing cannabis-derived oil cartridges to Russia, saying she had done so by accident. The move was significant as it shed the first light on her defense team's strategy, and it could potentially pave the way for a prisoner swap with the U.S. or a pardon that could see Griner free. We, of course, hope for the leniency of the court. The basketball player's Russian lawyer, Maria Blagovalina, I hope I got that right, was quoted as saying by local media on Thursday outside a Moscow courthouse, considering all the circumstances of the case and taking into account the personality of our client, we believe that the admission of guilt should certainly be taken into account. From a procedural standpoint, under Russia's legal system, a pardon or prisoner swap can only happen if the individual has already been convicted. Moscow is unlikely to respond to any of Washington's requests for Griner's release until she has formally been convicted. So yeah, so this was needed, something that she had to do if she wanted her freedom. So it's a deputy Russian foreign minister, Sergei Rybakov, said Thursday that there are no formal or procedural reasons to discuss further steps until Griner's trial is concluded. On Friday, Rybakov indicated that Russia was interested in putting the ball in Washington's court, leaving Biden administration to make an offer for a potential swap if the two sides can reach the stage of closed-door negotiations on an exchange. As for any exchange schemes, our position is the same. This needs to be done behind closed doors through available channels. He said, signal clearly that Moscow could be interested in negotiating a swap for notorious Russian arms dealer Victor Bout. I couldn't remember his name earlier. It's Victor Bout, and his nickname is the Merchant of Death. So I haven't read up why he's called that, but I guess you can fill in the blanks of probably why that's his name. He said, who has been in U.S. custody since 2008. I'm not sure that any additional activity, especially in the public sphere, will help a correct, balanced compromise and find a basis to alleviate the fate a lot of our compatriots, such as Victor Bout, who has health problems, or such Seleznev and many others. He said, referring to Roman Seleznev, who was serving a 27-year prison sentence in the U.S. on cyber fraud charges. U.S. officials have repeatedly referred to Griner as wrongfully detained, a label Kremlin said is not helpful in negotiations, and it's not. It's not helpful in negotiations because she was not wrongfully detained. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said Friday during an official visit to Indonesia, the securing the release of Britney Griner and another U.S. citizen, Paul Whelan, who was sentenced to a 16-year prison on espionage charges in Russia, was a number one priority for the Biden administration. So it says, asked about Rybakov remarks suggesting Griner's trial will have to play out before there was any further movement on a potential prisoner swap. Blinken told reporters he was not going to engage in hypotheticals. We'll look for ways to engage and do everything we can to bring people home as quickly as we possibly can. Even though Griner has entered a guilty plea, it could still take weeks or even months for the judge to issue a verdict in the case. She is expected to give testimony during the next hearing, which is scheduled for July 14th. The admission of guilt could play in Griner's favor in the long term, as it may lead to a shorter trial. than would be expected if her legal team were to mount a fierce resistance to the charges. That was the case with another American, Trevor Reed, who was recently released in the swap for a Russian pilot, Konstantin Yoroshenko. Hope I'm getting these names right. After the fighting the charges against him for nearly 3 years while he languished in the Russian prison, Reed was supposedly still made to sign a paper admitting his wrongdoing before he was released. Yeah, she go ahead, because you were caught with these substances, whatever it was, hash oil, Delta 8, whatever it was, you were caught with it. Possession and use of marijuana are legal in Russia. Statistically, a very few criminal cases end in acquittal in the Russian justice system. If any negotiations or on a potential prisoner swap fail or fail to even materialize, given relations between Washington and Moscow are currently at or near an all-time low, pleading guilty and asking the court for mercy could at least see any sentence imposed on Griner shortened. So we're still in a wait-and-see posture to see how the trial proceeds. So the acting director of the Wilson Center, Washington, an expert in Russian law, told CBS News on Thursday, that's William Pomeranz. I think she pled guilty mainly to throw herself on the mercy of the court and to plead for leniency. Pomeranz said he previously told the news outlets that it's often the best strategy to adopt with Russian courts. Yeah, being locked up abroad. I haven't really watched the show like that, but I would just imagine what it's like over there. So we'll have to see if she gets the maximum sentence. Clearly, this case has now become a political case, and there are already discussions allegedly having a plea agreement and a prisoner swap with a Russian prisoner for Britney Griner. He said, we need to basically see whether this prisoner swap is in the cards, because if she indeed wants to get home as fast as possible, it will be only if there's a swap between Russia and the United States. So her freedom depends on the U.S. willing to or Russia willing to swap. That's what all this depends on, whether they want to swap. He said, so this was an accident that she brought it with her, or she was trying to bring it back. I'm confused. So supposedly, from what I've heard about that, Ness, is that it was something that was regularly done. Wasn't the first time she had done this. It's something that her and I'm sure other athletes have done the exact same thing over there as well. They've done the same things as her. And supposedly she's been going through their customs before, and she's been let through, and it hasn't been an issue. But of course, we're in a different time right now. Hey, yesterday's price is not today's price. The block is hot in Russia. And the only reason she's over there now, I believe, is because of what's currently going on and the sanctions America has put on Russia and other places. That's one of the reasons she's over there. So, and then you got this basketball star who they probably want to make an example of. She is an American. And two, from what I've heard, is that she's not the only one. Like, she's not the only American who's been detained for, I mean, you could call it a petty reason, but the law is the law. I mean, you either abide by the law or you face the consequences when you do not abide by the law. So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But let me post to a few of these groups real quick. Let's see. Sports news. No, Jazz. Let's go ahead and post them. I don't care. All right. So now I'm shared there. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully she's able to get out of this. I know I saw her. She wrote the letter to Joe Biden, pleading with him. Said she'd been over there for like 140 days now or so. But hopefully she can get out of this. But I hate that her coach and people are bringing up LeBron James in this. They're saying like, well, if this was LeBron James would be home by now. Well, if this was LeBron James most likely wouldn't have been detained in the first place. He wouldn't have put himself in this situation in the first place. I mean, let's just call it what it is. You say that's why, to me, was a poor decision on her for not being caught on the Russian-U.S. relations right now, which is not good. Really hasn't been for over a decade now. Yeah, this was poor judgment. It was. And, you may be able to, hey, this is like Jameis Winston with the whole crab legs thing. which people are like, oh, he was stealing crab legs. No, he was given crab legs by a Publix employee, and he didn't rat the dude out of whatever, but he was supposedly given to him. And this same thing, you probably had people in the past, TSA, whatever, they let her pass through, had no issue with what she was bringing in or whatever, because she's Britney Griner. She has some status. I mean, she's a star over there as well. She makes, I think, more money playing ball over there than she does here in the States. So she's well known. She's 6'8". So it's Britney Griner. But hey, this one day she got the wrong person, I guess. They searched her stuff was in there, and they were like, yo, we got to detain her because she has illegal substances on her person. And people want to make this a political thing or whatever, but hey, it is what it is. Wrong is wrong. Now, this is very smart by her defense team. A plea of guilty. Go ahead and throw yourself on the mercy of the court. And so, because you don't want to be like the other guy who he was over there 3 years fighting this. She don't want to do that. Yeah, I saw Roy Jones. I did see this next thing. Roy Jones Jr. trying to help her. He has some cities in Russia and knows some high-profile Russians. Yeah, I have seen that. Even LeBron James. There's a lot of them are trying to currently help her now. And I hope she gets the help because I know it's a bit much over there. But one of the arguments that I've seen too is that they saying, well, the argument is that the fact that she has to go to Russia to play basketball in the first place, if she was making what NBA players made or close to what they made, she wouldn't have had to go to Russia to play basketball. And she said nobody's talking about that. But come on, man, how many times do we have to have the NBA versus WNBA salaries conversation? I mean, you go take an economics class. WNBA players can't be paid more money because where's the money going to come from? They don't bring in revenue. They operate at a deficit every year. The NBA gives them $10 million so they can operate because they're in the red every single season. It's just what it is. Ladies will talk about this, but if you're in a debate with a effeminist, one of those militant women who talking that, or the NBA, WNBA players need to be paid, ask her where the money coming from. And ask her, name me a WNBA player right now. Ask her, has she ever been to any games? Do she even watch it on TV? Probably not. Most likely not. They want equality in these things, but they don't even support the WNBA. And of course, the WNBA as a whole, as far as the business side of it, is terrible. Horrible marketing. They could do much better by their players so their players don't have to play overseas. And this was supposedly the last year that Britney was going to play overseas. You say, I think the marketing aspect of the WNBA is awful. It's absolutely awful. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible, man. But, man, we're going to leave that right there. We're going to get into some Lakers talk because, let me speed this up. I'm trying to get up out of here. Got some stuff to do. But supposedly Jeanie Buss took a shot at LeBron. It's very, very interesting. So, okay. No, not this screen. I'll do the other screen first. So I got it. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you her tweet first before we go over that article. But in her tweet, let's see, where are we at? But yeah, she made a tweet talking about Kobe Bryant. And in the tweet, she said, I miss KB. He would understand and explain everything that I'm not allowed to. Honestly, he was the greatest Laker ever. He understood team over self, meaning your rewards would come if you value team goals over your own, then everything will fall into place. All can reply. Now, I get what she's saying. And, this could be a shot at LeBron. I don't necessarily think it's a shot at LeBron. If this is a shot at LeBron, I think it's highly unprofessional because you are an owner of a team and any squabbles or any issues or anything you have and want to say should be handled behind closed doors as professionals do. But, it is what it is. So to say, in Lakers news, NBA expert slammed Jeanie Buss for a cryptic tweet. Fox Sports' Rick Bucher wasn't a big fan of Lakers owner Jeanie Buss firing off a tweet laden with subliminal messages. He said the Lakers are in an interesting spot at the moment. They signed a slew of young players this offseason to bolster the roster, but the biggest question is whether or not the front office will pull out the stops to acquire next guard Kyrie Irving. Let's see. Right at the height of the Kyrie to LA rumors this weekend, Lakers owner Jeanie Buss posted a tweet that set off plenty of NBA chatter. And yes, it did. Say the tweet laden with subliminal messages wrapped in a tribute to Kobe could be interpreted in a variety of ways, including but not limited to a veiled shot at LeBron James and Clutch Sports, or a warning to Kyrie Irving if he ends up in the purple and gold or anything in between. Buss spoke of team goals over your own and a wistful comment that if Kobe would be able to explain everything that I'm not allowed to. In an appearance on The Herd this week, NBA reporter Rick Bucher condemned Buss for her oddly timed tweet. He said, in general, things that are this complex, I don't like anybody. I don't think it serves anybody to be tweeting subliminal messages, but certainly not the owner of a franchise. The story is the Los Angeles Lakers with where they are. And I said the same thing. When I saw her tweet that, I'm like, why are you doing this? There's no reason to do this. This is unprofessional. It is. You don't subliminally tweet talking about leadership. And let's be honest. Let's be completely honest and transparent about Kobe Bryant. You know, I love Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. But if you want to talk about leadership and you want to talk about Kobe Bryant, you got to talk about the hypocrisy as well. Because when you bring him up, you got to bring up him when he was pissed off with y'all in ownership. He was trying to force a trade and force his way out of LA before y'all smooth things over. So come on with the whole leader. Yeah, okay, yeah, he's team first and he's a leader, but let's be real. Kobe wanted out as well. And y'all was able to smooth things over and was able to keep him, but Kobe Bryant wanted to be out of there as well. You say Bucher continued, the problem is that this could be interpreted in many ways, but the heart of it is I have a selfish team and we need to eradicate some of that selfishness. That's exactly what I heard. Now, is it a shot at LeBron? Is it a shot at Russell Westbrook? Who is it a shot at? It's a shot at somebody subliminally, not knowing that is the scattergun that an owner can't afford to have. Yeah, because if I'm a player and I'm looking at this and I'm like, yo, I'm out here, you know, I'm trying to win. That's what the game is. I'm trying to win. And, you know, the team isn't doing well because what's happening now, too, as well, is they're losing. You know, you gotten a championship in the bubble. And I hate when people talk about, you know, the soft bubble title, whatever. If Michael Jordan had won in the bubble, you wouldn't be calling it that. So cut it out. I don't want to hear that. Anybody else won that title, you wouldn't be talking about that soft bubble title. I don't want to hear that. But what it is the Lakers are losing is what's happening. And the finger pointing has started. Whether they pointed at LeBron James. Russell Westbrook has taken a lot of this too. Of course, Anthony Davis, Mr. Glass, has taken a lot of this as well. But now, once the losing starts, finger pointing starts. He said, Buss is a well-respected NBA figure, but her comments only add to what's been a drama-filled offseason for the Lakers. As governor of the Lakers, her tweet created more questions than answers, and Bucher, for one, believes her post is a misstep. And I believe her post is a misstep as well. Let's be honest. What was the Lakers before LeBron James? A perennial loser. That's what they were. LeBron James took you to it's been 3 years. You have a championship and a playoff appearance. You know, that's what you got right now. That's way better than what you had in the previous years, especially towards the tail end of Kobe Bryant's career, where players didn't want to come there and play with Kobe as he was aging. That's fact. So now you're talking about this, but let's see where this franchise goes once LeBron James leaves then, because that's going to tell us all. Only time will tell, and all we need to know. But I will say this as well. Yes, we know that guys like LeBron, superstars, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, even the Michael Jordans, even the Tom Brady's, those guys are divas, man. They are. All of them. All of them. Those superstar players, those top guys, those max contract players, those guys, most of those guys are absolute divas. And it is what it is. Like, I remember when Matt LaFleur got hired by the Packers, and they told they sent a message to Aaron Rodgers saying, don't be the problem. And they were talking about how, he was a headache to deal with in Green Bay. And I can't remember the sports analyst who said it. He said, well, if Aaron Rodgers is a headache, you need to take some Tylenol and shut up, because it is what it is. You got to take the good with the bad. The Lakers are better with LeBron than they're going to be without LeBron. I don't care what they're talking about. I don't care what she's saying or talking about selfishness here, selfishness there. Call it out. Don't make cryptic tweets and messages. Call it out. And this does not help. Let's see what they say. Say, sound like she need to have a sit down with the entire Laker organization. And I feel you, bro. But the bubble was solved because key players were sat down due to COVID protocols. If LB would have gotten hit with COVID, they wouldn't have won that chip. And that's true too. Hey, it is what it is. Hey, you could say the same thing about injury. When Toronto won their title, nobody questions Toronto title like they do question the bubble. But let's be honest, if Kevin Durant wasn't hurt, Toronto wouldn't have beat Golden State. It is what it is, man. But yeah, Jeanie Buss, man, I don't know. And then they got to get Rob Pelinka out of there. Rob Pelinka has to go. I've said that for a minute now. Rob Pelinka has to go. But it is what it is. But we're gonna move on. I'm gonna finish this up with my boo. She's so gorgeous, Miss Skylar Diggins Smith. She's a married woman now, so I have to watch my words. But with all due respect, sir, with all due respect. So Skylar Diggins is supposedly on the trade block, and part of the reasons is this statement that was made right here, where she tweeted out. She gave the clown emoji in reference to this tweet. So let's hear what the coach has to say. Fair use.
You mean WNBA All-Star Diana Taurasi? So yeah, I thought Dee was great. She does everything for us. And, part of that, when we talk about our defense, I don't think Dee's been known for her defense in the league. I've read things like I've read things. I haven't seen it because since I've been coaching her, she's been committed, and she really does. She's the heartbeat of our defense. If you can see it closely, how she communicates on the backside and is talking and moving and doing everything she can to help make sure everybody is on the same page defensively. That's a part of her game that she gets no credit for. Clearly, that's not where they give all-star votes for. But again, I reiterate that she should be an all-star and that there will be a game in Chicago, but it will not be an all-star game because Diana Taurasi is not playing. You mean?
So those were her statements, and I think that was blown out of proportion. I don't see how that. I mean, Skylar Diggins took that as a jab towards her, and and I can't argue with somebody over how they felt about something somebody said. I didn't really see it in that way, but obviously Skylar Diggins had an issue with that, so she tweeted the clown emoji, and to no one's surprise, she's on the trading block now. So I wonder what that locker room is like right now, because there's obvious tension in that locker room, and they're looking to get Skylar Diggins out of there. But Skylar Diggins is she's been carrying them. So without her, I don't know what this team is going to be. So it says Skylar Mercury exploring trade of all-star Skylar Diggins Smith per reports. Say another major roster move could be coming for the Mercury during their tumultuous 2022 season. According to Howard Megdale of the 9 newsletter, all-star Skylar Diggins Smith is on the trade block. During a May loss to the Aces, Diggins Smith and fellow star Diana Taurasi had to be separated during a heated verbal altercation. I did see that. They were face-to-face. Earlier this month, Mercury coach Vanessa Nygaard made the misstep of downgrading the 2022 WNBA All-Star game after Taurasi was snubbed from the event. Diggins Smith is an All-Star this year and made it pretty clear that she took it as a snub from her coach, responding to a clip of Nygaard's statement with the clown emoji and reportedly liking additional tweets that indicated that it was a shot at the coach. Nygaard apologized and clarified her comments last week. Now Diggins Smith could be looking for a new home. The 9-14 Mercury are shopping the 6-time All-Star to multiple teams. Megdale reports, despite the fact that the situation in Phoenix leaves many others around the league wary of adding her. Despite the team's struggle, Diggins Smith has had a phenomenal individual season and is averaging 19.1 points, 5 assists, and 3.8 rebounds per game. If she's moved, she will be the second former all WNBA talent to leave the team in recent weeks. Let's see. Center Tina Charles signed with the Storm after agreeing to part ways with Mercury on June 25th. She filled in for Mercury stalwart Britney Griner, who remains in Russian custody after what the U.S. called a wrongful detainment. In February, she was arrested at a Russian airport after officials allegedly found the hash oil in the luggage. It wasn't a wrongful detainment. They got to stop saying that. Say Diggins Smith is in her third season with the Phoenix after 6 years with the Shock and Wings franchises. And, I mean, I chose both of these, and even Jeanie Buss. They say when we talk about professionalism, man, and you have to have a certain level of professionalism, in these sports. I mean, whether like Jeanie Buss, her being an owner and sending out subliminal tweets, I expect that from athletes. I don't want coaches, owners, or team officials to do things like that. And even Skylar Diggins, even though Vanessa Nygaard said what she said and you took it as a shot or whatever, you should never do that. You should never tweet out the clown emoji over a response to something that your coach said. You handle those things behind the scenes. You go to her office and you talk to her. You call up and say, hey, I need to talk to you. I got beef. I got this. I got that. So for you to put the business out here like that, that's bad for business, because now, like they said, other teams are weary of adding her to their roster because you already done got in it with Diana Taurasi, and now you're tweeting out clown emojis of your head coach and the statements they made. It makes you look aggressive. I don't know why, like it's and this women. Some women don't understand some of their actions and how it makes them look aggressive. Me as a man, I can understand that because I see how people react to things that I do. But as a woman, you have to understand certain things are going to make you look masculine. They're going to make you look aggressive, disagreeable, hard to work with. And Skylar Diggins Smith did herself no favors by doing this. And she could be totally right. You could be totally right. And even Jeanie Buss could be totally right about what's going on, because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes in either situation. But how you handle it out in public, out in front of everybody, it's paramount that you handle it the right way. Because even if the other side is wrong, you look unprofessional by the way that you're acting. And I don't think a lot of people get that. But, hey, it is what it is. But that is all I have for today. Man, I'm under 30 minutes. I am so proud of myself. That is what's up. Oh, my God. Why is everybody calling me right now? Anyway, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. I will be back. Let's say, got to get this last comment. They say, these incidents show a lack of integrity and protection of the image of the team you're on. Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. It does. All day long, it does. And there's a certain level of professionalism and decorum you have to have. Shoot, that's like, and I should do a short video on it, but the senator, I think her name was Tiara Mack. She's Rhode Island state senator, and she was twerking for votes. She put up a video of her twerking, talking about vote for her. Unprofessional. Absolutely unprofessional, man. So it is what it is. But make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on my social medias. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. But until next time, I am out of here.